Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, you wake up and somehow every interesting dictionary in the world has been downloaded into your brain. Six like English words, every grammar rule, every tense, every idiom, and every phrasal verb. Now let me ask you a question. Would you become fluent overnight? Most people would instantly say, yes, of course. But here is the strange part. Psychology say not necessarily. In fact, this question reveals the biggest myth about learning English, a myth that millions of learners, including me at one point, has believed for years. A myth that quietly steals confidence, makes people think they are not talented enough, and convince them that fluency is always just a few more words away. But what if that belief is completely wrong? Today we are going to investigate one simple question. What does actually mean to learn a language? Let me tell you something interesting. Imagine two learners. The first learner studies for 3 hours every day. They memorize vocabulary, highlight grammar rules, fill notebook with hundreds of new words. The second learner studies only 1 hour. They know fewer words. Their grammar isn't perfect. But every day they speak, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Now imagine both learners meet a tourist who asks, "Excuse me, where is the nearest bus station?" Who do you think answers more confidently? Most people would choose the first learner. After all, they study more, they know more, right? Surprisingly, psychologists often find the opposite because knowing something and using something are not the same thing. Think back to your school days. How were you rewarded for speaking or for remembering? Most of us were rewarded for remembering. We memorized definitions, dates, formulas, grammar rules, vocabulary lists. Then we took an exam. We wrote everything on paper, got good marks, and everyone said, "Excellent learning," slowly. Without realizing it, our brain learned a hidden lesson. It began to believe that learning means collecting information. So when we started learning English, we did exactly what school had trained us to do. Collect more words, more grammar, more notes, more videos, more courses. Because it felt like progress, but it was. Psychologists have discovered something fascinating. There is a mental illusion called the illusion of competence. It happens when something feels familiar, so our brain mistakes familiarity for mastery. For example, have you ever read the same English word 10 times and thought, I know this word, but later someone asks you to use it in a sentence and suddenly you can't. That's because recognizing information is much easier than producing it. Your brain says, I have seen this before, but speaking asks a completely different question. Can you use it right now? Those are two very different skills, and that's where millions of English learners get trapped. Not because they are lazy, not because they are unintelligent, but because the brain quietly confuses recognition with ability. Imagine watching hundreds of cooking videos. You know every ingredient, every recipe, every technique. You can explain exactly how to bake a cake. Now someone hands you flour, eggs, butter and sugar and says, go ahead. Would your first cake look like the one made by a professional chef? Probably not, because cooking, like speaking, isn't knowledge, it's performance. And performance improve only through practice. The same is true for English. You don't become fluent because information enters your brain. You become fluent because your brain learns how to use that information under real conditions. And here is where neuroscience reveals something even more surprising. Your brain doesn't store knowledge and skills in exact the same way. And once you understand the difference, everything about language learning start to make sense. So we discovered something surprising. The biggest myth isn't simply that we need more vocabulary. The real myth is believing that collecting knowledge automatically creates skill. But if that's true, then what actually happens inside the brain when we learn to speak? To answer that question, let's leave the classroom for a moment and visit a playground. Imagine a 5-year-old child learning to ride a bicycle. The first time they sit on, they wobble, they lose balance, sometimes they fall. Now imagine their father says, "Don't worry, instead of practicing, I'll buy you 10 books about cycling." Would that help? Of course not. Because riding a bicycle is not something you learn by understanding, it's something you learn by doing. Speaking English works in exactly the same way. Your brain has two different jobs. Think about your brain as a city. One part is like a giant library. It stores facts, grammar rules, vocabulary, meanings. This is knowledge. But another part of your brain is more like a network of roads. Every time you speak English, a journey begins. Your brain has to find the right word, choose the correct grammar, arrange the sentence, move your tongue and lip, and do all of this in just a fraction of a second. At first, these roads are slow and full of traffic. That's why speaking feels difficult. But every time you practice, the roads become wider, the journey becomes faster. Scientists call this amazing ability neuroplasticity. Your brain changes according to what you repeatedly do, not according to what you repeatedly read. Why babies don't study grammar? Now here is a question. Have you ever seen a baby learning grammar? Have you ever seen a 2-year-old memorizing vocabulary list? Of course not. And by the age of 4 or 5, most children can communicate amazingly well in their first language. Why? Because they spend thousands of hours using language, listening, copying, making mistakes, trying again. Nobody laughs when a child says a sentence incorrectly. Mistakes are expected. They are part of learning, but many adults expect themselves to speak perfectly from the beginning. That fear of making mistakes often stops them from getting the very practice that would make them better. Imagine two doors. The first door says, learn more English. The second door says, use the English you already know. Most learners spend years opening the first door. Very few spend enough time opening the second. But fluency is built behind the second door. Every conversation, every sentence, every mistake, every correction, your brain is quietly strengthening the pathways that make speaking easier. This is why a learner with only 2000 words can often speak more confidently than someone who knows 10,000 words but rarely uses them. The difference isn't intention, it's training. Tonight, before you go to bed, ask yourself one simple question. Not how many new words did I learn today? Instead ask, how many English sentences did I actually create today? That single question changes everything because speaking is not a memory competition, it's a skill. And every skill grows through practice. So what is the biggest myth about learning English? It's believing that fluency comes after collecting more information. Knowledge is important, grammar is important, vocabulary is important, but by themselves they are like bicycle manuals. Useful, but they cannot ride the bicycle for you. Real fluency begins the moment you stop preparing for your work and start using what you already know. Remember, you don't become fluent because you know English. You become fluent because your brain has practiced using English again and again until speaking feels natural. So time you think, I'll start speaking after I learn little more? Ask yourself, how much longer will you keep reading about swimming instead of getting into the water? Because the truth is simple. Water is where learning happens. Thank you for watching or listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.